The initiative to colonize Mars rapidly transcends the realm of science fiction and is supported by numerous intelligent and influential individuals. It's not a notion everyone supports, and it's not without its obstacles, so many are extremely skeptical at best. Life on Mars would be quite distinct from life on Earth. Nonetheless, it could be startlingly similar. The main differences you discover may be surprising, particularly in their particulars, and there may be similarities that many of us would not anticipate at all. Is the planet Mars shockingly less habitable than it appears? Or will a minor occurrence render our efforts impossible? Number 10. Different atmosphere. Most of us should not be surprised that oxygen would be difficult to obtain on Mars. We take for granted the ability to breathe the air on our planet, which is not surprising given that we have evolved to do so. However, a more surprising fact is that Mars has an atmosphere. Exists despite being 100 times thinner and substantially less habitable than Earth. Over 95% carbon dioxide prevents us from naturally breathing. However, Mars' atmosphere does contain oxygen, to the tune of 0.13%. Comparatively little but still intriguing compared to outer space's vastness. In addition, if we could convert this massive quantity of carbon dioxide into oxygen using plants, the situation might appear less dire. Number 9. Similar yet different timescales. A day is 24 hours on Earth. A fact that is both elementary and profound in its effect on our existence. All animals, including humans, are accustomed to the daily cycle of day and night. Our sleep regimens and cultures are designed to accommodate it. Mars must have a substantially different day length than what we are accustomed to, right? Surprisingly, the difference is only marginal. Mars days are approximately 24 hours and 14 minutes long. Just 14 minutes longer than we currently have. Different enough to be noticed, but not so different as to cause significant disruption. The only significant difference would be the length of the year. Due to Mars's greater distance from the Sun than ours, a Martian year consists of 687 days, nearly doubling our own 365. Comparable day lengths, but twice as lengthy seasons. Number 8. Horrific radiation. With an existing atmosphere, even if it is thin, the oxygen potential, and relatively normal days with a minor drawback of long seasons, Mars may sound like a simple place to colonize. Until the first significant issue, ionizing radiation, that is. In contrast to Earth, Mars lacks a magnetosphere to shield it from radiation. That was only sometimes the case. Approximately 4.2 billion years ago, it had a similar atmosphere. This magnetosphere vanished for a reason that scientists are still debating, which is the reason the atmosphere is so thin and why it would be difficult to settle on the Crimson Planet. In the absence of radiation protection and terrifying solar flares and cosmic rays, the quantity of radiation can reach around 2,000 milligrams per day, significantly higher than the 22 milliards astronauts on the International Space Station are exposed to. Long-term exposure could result in radiation toxicity and extremely high cancer rates. Therefore, we must address this difference if we wish to live on Mars. Number 7. Smaller surface, just as much land. Mars is considerably smaller than Earth, leading to concerns that there may need to be more space for large colonies. It only becomes more worrisome if the plan eventually calls for the entire human population to relocate or if the population of Mars approaches that of Earth. Mars, however, is an arid planet in addition to being smaller, something that the Earth is not. Since most of our planet is covered by oceans, the quantity of land is approximately the same. Some water would need to be introduced through terraforming. Still, our vast oceans, which contain salt water, could be more precisely useful to us now. Although we have numerous concerns, being too confined is probably not one of them. Number 6. Native life. Mars, as we know it, has always lacked life. A few conspiracy theories and outmoded beliefs about Martians do little to undermine this position. If you ask the average person, they would likely respond that our solar system is completely devoid of life, except for Earth. Scientists are surprisingly uncertain. However, The answer is still ambiguous and highly dependent on how life is precisely defined. We are certain that Mars lacks any organisms or flora that resemble those on Earth. Historically, the planet was presumably more habitable. Even so, no evidence exists that fantastical creatures inhabit the sandy surface. Mars could possess microorganisms such as bacteria. Scientists discovered distinct indications of methane on the planet, a gas that could have been produced by primitive life, whereas other groups did not. For further investigation, samples have been collected, but they won't likely be analyzed for another decade or so. However, how does this impact us and our potential colonies? Simply stated, if potentially dangerous space bacteria exist, we need to know before we come into contact with them. Number 5. Varying temperatures. Mars is frigid because it is further from the Sun. Again, this fact could be more startling. It is also colder than it would be due to the extremely sparse atmosphere, which is poet conducting heat. Still, this is not precisely shocking. Mars, an arid planet, resembles Earth's deserts in significant ways. It is a fact we may overlook. Temperatures on the surface vary wildly. It is extremely cold for most of the year, particularly at night, when they can drop well below zero. In actuality, the average temperature is -85°F or -65°C. Nevertheless, summer temperatures near the equator can reach a comfortable 68°F or 20°C. More than inhabitable and capable of sustaining liquid water than one would anticipate. Imagine how much more livable it could become if we could generate an atmosphere. Number 4. Lower gravity makes life harder. The gravity on Mars is 38% of what it is on Earth, so you would effectively weigh only 38% of your current weight if you traveled there. Living in low gravity may appear amusing initially, but it becomes increasingly difficult, even considering factors such as strong gusts. And it becomes even more problematic when you consider its impact on our bodies and the unexpected obstacles it may present. The human organism has evolved to withstand the gravitational pull of the Earth. Our skeleton, heart, musculature, and veins. Apollo astronauts were so weak and had lost so much muscle and bone after just 8 days in space that they had to be dragged from their landing capsules. Lower gravity makes it more difficult for our cardiovascular system to function properly, increasing the risk of heart attacks later in life. In addition, it may make childbirth difficult or impossible, given that it is a mechanism that evolved to accommodate Earth's gravity. The truth is, however, that we do not know. Mars' gravity may just be powerful enough to circumvent these issues. Or it may not be so. A frightening unknown that we will have to investigate. Number 3. Frozen, salty water. The good news is that Mars has had and likely has water on its surface. The bad news is that it is frozen solid and extremely salted. Like our oceans, saline water is less useful than a river or lake containing drinkable water. However, it could be a lifesaver on a different planet that is not precisely conducive to life. According to accumulating evidence, Mars once had liquid, salty water flowing near its equator as recently as 400,000 years ago. It may seem lengthy, but it is much shorter than cosmic time, and our planet is already teeming with life. If Mars still has water, and scientists believe it does, it is likely still briny and frozen solid near the polar regions. Overall, this remains excellent news. Certainty dictates that ice from which salt can be extracted is vastly preferable to no water at all. Number 2. Plants could still grow. Growing vegetation on Mars is difficult but essential for our long-term survival. It comes out, however, that it may be easier than it initially appears. Undoubtedly, there are many obstacles to surmount, but you may be surprised by how promising current tests and research are. The first plant we will cultivate has already been chosen. Alfalfa, a plant that currently thrives on Earth, can grow in volcanic soil that is extremely similar to the soil on Mars. This plant is inedible, but it may hold the key to producing sustainable fertilizer that would enable other plants to grow and convert carbon dioxide into oxygen. We'd need water and have to contend with radiation and other conditions. But plants have been successfully grown in simulated Mars-like conditions on Earth. There are obstacles ahead, but this can be accomplished. Number 1. The differences could be overcome. The most crucial point is the possibility that life on Mars is more feasible than we realize. The comparisons to Earth are not always favorable, but the differences can be surmounted, and our brilliant scientists are getting closer to making this a reality. The Perseverance rover independently produced oxygen on Mars. It was expensive and required a great deal of energy, but it was a successful first endeavor that will only improve, leading scientists to speculate that water could be the next target. There are plans to terraform the red planet, potentially rendering it habitable and similar to Earth. Even horrifying obstacles, such as massive radiation, have proposed solutions, such as hobbit hole structures that colonists could conceal. Our inventiveness and ability to discover solutions and survive are unparalleled on our own planet. Whether you believe Mars should be colonized or not, the question is not whether colonization is technically feasible. If the planet is inferior, technological progress will make it so that it is not. And there you have it, a fascinating glimpse into the potential realities of living on Mars compared to Earth. From gravity and weather to transportation and landscapes, Mars offers a unique and challenging environment that could reshape humanity's future. Who knows what incredible discoveries and innovations await us as we venture further into the cosmos. Remember to stay curious and keep exploring the wonders of our universe. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious and keep looking to the stars. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.